Hey guys, Music Culture Live podcast. Today we have Leo Armbruster, and we are going to do a little bit of a discussion, and we're going to talk about the music industry. I would say mainly pertaining to local gigging musicians, but we might get into some other stuff and how that industry has changed over the years. A conversation that I always end up having with people a lot is, this is like a very common statement I hear. It's just not like it used to be. Yeah. It used to be so much easier to make money gigging, and it was so much easier to make it as a musician. And I don't know if that's true because I'm only 46 years old and I've only been playing music for under 10 years. So I have no idea. Yeah. So we're going to talk to Leo about that. Leo has been playing music, writing music, and gigging as a musician since the 1970s, right?
Actually, 1970.
1970.
Had my first solo gig in 1971.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whew, first solo gig in 1970. So Leo probably, and mainly in this area, correct? Like
yes.
this region,
Sure.
regional area. Sure. So Leo probably has a very good idea of what he's seen, at least within our local market and the music industry in general. And all three of us have done gigs in different capacities and been paid to play music and do gigs with bands and solo stuff alike. So if you're not familiar with Leo, you're from Williamsport, Montoursville area?
Williamsport area, right.
Yep. And Leo has had this long career as a musician around here, and he's done lots of really great songwriting and playing. And
I don't say great. They're songs. They're songs, and I like them. Some people like them. You know,
he's done some almost great music.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm striving. I'm striving.
Yeah.
Always
all
striving.
music is that way, though. I mean, not everybody likes everything. You know?
Right. Exactly.
Well, Leo, would you like to just say a little bit about yourself real quick before we get started so that everybody knows who we're talking to, or do you just want to jump right in?
Well, I've been playing music for a long time. Primarily, I really came out of sort of the folk movement. I was really listening to those recordings early, probably when I was 10, 12 years old, because I had an older brother who was in college at the time. He had all the albums.
Yeah.
And I was listening to them, so it just became sort of a part of me. And then when the folk rock movement started with the Byrds,
okay,
and others, I really jumped in there and really.
And that's what really got to you.
Yeah.
So Becca's a big Bob Dylan fan. Is Bob Dylan the folk rock movement or the folk movement?
It became folk rock after he'd made Nashville Skyline.
Okay.
It really spurred that whole thing.
Yeah.
And who was the artist that you were telling me that Bob Dylan was really inspired by? We were talking. Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie.
Well, Woody Guthrie, of course.
So Woody Guthrie would be, the earlier.
He was his
folk
hero.
Type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you think? How is the industry? What do you think is the main thing that you've noticed or experienced with the industry that's different now in 2025 versus 1970?
Well, we have to get to money on this one.
Oh, without inflation.
Basically, without inflation. I can tell you, my first solo gig in 1971 was a coffee house at Lycoming College, and you had to go audition for it. They paid you $75. Do you know how much $75 was in 1970?
Right.
It was a lot.
Right.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
You can do the calculations. They would probably pay $75 today, and that's what you get at most local.
Right.
Most local eateries and bars have a price point, and they won't go above it.
Yeah.
Usually $250, $300.
Yeah.
And that's what we were paid. Our bands were paid then.
Right.
We'd get $400 for a high school dance.
Yeah.
They'd still give you $400 for a high school dance if high schools did dances anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and they don't do that. That's changed.
Yeah. I mean, and that's changed,
Yeah.
Across the entire landscape in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Minimum wage and blah, blah, blah. We won't go crazy into politics, but the value of money, inflation, and that type of thing has been a big point of contention, for a lot of reasons. So you definitely see that.
I've seen there was a question people would always ask when you were booked, how many people can you bring in? I said, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said, you're the one, don't you do any promotion? Well, no, we don't do any promotion. You have to do the promoting.
Yeah.
So they want you to do the promoting and pay you a pittance for it, at the end. And you can put up the tip jar, and that always helps. of course,
Right.
because if you're really good, you're gonna make some money
Yeah.
on the tips. But there are some venues that are tips only,
Right.
and I can think, and they're good. They're great places for trying out new songs,
Yeah.
for one thing.
Yeah, and that definitely is also another thing that we talk about a lot, venues paying, and that's a really good point to pick up because it is kind of an issue. You know, there is this sort of like this, I would say this idea that most venue owners have that is kind of let's let the market decide what we pay them. So, you know, it's that whole idea that why should we even have a minimum wage? If someone's willing to work for $1 an hour,
Well,
then why
it's-
not let them? So, you know, that's
Capitalism, my friend.
Right,
That's
right. But back in the
So
day,
it
it was
is.
like, hey, let's pay these people, you know, because at that time, I mean, what do you think $75 is worth now? I have no idea, but
It's about 5 times that.
probably just like
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about 5 times.
And you know, because Rebecca plays gigs, obviously, where, you know, she might not get paid as much as she would like.
If you want the gig, if you want to keep playing, if you want to keep. But then you build a following at that place, and you get tips, which is that's good.
Yeah, but that's like, to me, tips and
You're singing for your supper.
Tips and the pay are not mutually exclusive.
No.
Because you know your pay should be what you're guaranteed. That's your guarantee.
That's your guarantee
And your
at the
tips
door.
are that extra that you get for your performance.
What I've noticed is that most places, it used to be, they would charge a cover. They'd charge like $5, and most people can pay that. But you find that places don't want to ask people for a cover anymore.
Yeah. Well,
You know, they just add it to the tab.
I'll
know,
tell you
when
what.
get-
There's this bar in Bethlehem that my first punk band played, and they're like a very well known, very kind of famous music venue in Bethlehem, and they've had many like now famous people play there.
Right.
And I try not to ever name drop on this about places, but you know Trey Anastasia from Fish.
Yeah,
He played there. He's done solo gigs there. But we played there.
Well, it's a big music town. It's a
Yeah.
music fest, and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we
whole
played there
shebang.
as a stupid punk band. We did an hour set, and it might not seem a lot to you guys who have actually gotten paid for real shows, but you know we made like I think $350 for the hour show because they charged a cover, and they gave both bands that played that night split the door.
Oh.
And it was like a $3 cover, but it's a really super popular bar.
Sure,
So there was like 300 people in the room, and they, you know what I mean. And people were like, "Oh, $3, yeah, okay, we'll still come in and drink."
Yeah.
They didn't know anything about the music, but then they paid us through that. So that was kind of a cool thing. But I don't know that every single venue can kind of get away with doing that. You know?
most,
Right.
but I think most can. Most understand. We have entertainment. They're told at the door, we have entertainment tonight. You know, you're going to be charged. If you sit at the bar, take a seat. You know, you're going to be charged a cover.
Even if it's like $2,
$3,
$2 or $3,
$5,
yeah.
whatever. Because most people can afford a $5.
And nobody really charges covers anymore.
No, it's
those
hardly
type
ever
of
seen.
places.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe they just feel like, oh, nobody's going to come in if we charge a cover.
Oh, they're afraid. I think people might, because people do get confrontational now about all kinds of stuff that they didn't ordinarily get
Yeah.
confrontational about.
Yeah.
Very prickly, you know.
Yeah, even the bars, like I grew up in Lewisburg, and some of the college type bars there, even when there wasn't entertainment, they were charging covers to get in.
Oh.
You know, yeah, a couple bucks when I was 21.
Well, it makes
22,
sense because a lot of
23
people
years
just stand around with
Yeah.
their friends. You know,
Yeah.
it sort of makes sense.
old. So anyway, what do you think? Do you have anything to kind of add about that, or any questions about that?
Well, I'm curious as far as what, in what other ways has, the music scene changed besides that. Like, we were talking about fashion earlier.
Oh,
So
Oh.
maybe you have some thoughts on that.
yeah. Some bars would not let you, like, we had a drummer in the first band I was in. We had a drummer who would take his shirt off.
Yeah.
And we actually got kicked out of a high school dance. But it was May. It was a hot spell in May.
Yeah.
And it had to have been at least 100 in the gym. High humidity. We're all sweated through our stuff. He took his shirt off.
This was during a show. You were playing a
Yeah.
set. Okay.
Yeah.
This was back in the 70s?
It was probably 1971 or 72.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and high school dances were common
Yeah.
on weekends. It was a
Yep.
great places for bands to play.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then
that's a
school
big
district paid the
change.
freight, so they paid whatever,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, because schools never do that.
Yeah.
What do you think now? You can't. When was the last time you took your shirt off during a show, Leo?
Well, I never did that. I never.
Well,
see,
I would say it probably happens more now.
it happens more now, sure, especially outside.
Yeah.
At big outside concerts,
Nobody
festivals.
would think anything of that.
No,
now.
nobody would think of anything of that.
It's
But
funny.
it was like
Yeah.
the teacher, I guess, who was in charge of this dance was like appalled. He went crazy on the guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because I just went to see my friends in Bloomsburg Neanderthal, a punk rock band, a couple weeks ago, and their bass player. I can tell him now because I love calling him out about this. He always takes his shirt off for every show. So they were about to get ready to play. They didn't start their set yet, and I'm like, Twitch, take off your shirt already.
Yeah,
And he was like,
take it off now,
okay, and he
no
took
way.
it right off before they even started. So it was kind of
Well,
It's
fun.
especially
I will
cool
say-
if they're a little bit overweight and they're not self-conscious about it.
They don't
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
care.
it's, just,
Then they really don't
Drummers
care.
are known for that. You know,
Yeah.
big guys.
it's like the Jack Black thing. You know?
I was just gonna joke that I got ripped off then because when I went to see Neanderthal,
He didn't take his
He
shirt
did
off.
not.
Oh my god!
He didn't take it off.
You did get ripped
and
off.
if he did, I didn't notice.
What was the guy all chiseled and stuff? Is that what?
Well, he's a younger dude.
Yeah, so-
good looking, strapping young single guy. I think he's single anyway, but he's really fun, and it's just funny because he always takes it off. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys should just all take your shirts off.
So in terms of with fashion and being professional, what would you say was professional attire for a gig back then as opposed
Oh.
to now?
Actually, like sort of. Remember how the Brady Bunch used to dress?
Yeah.
Sort of like that.
Yeah.
So it was
Sort of
like
like
Beach
that.
Boys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
kinda,
exactly.
yeah.
Nice shirt, maybe a button-down shirt, nice slacks.
The Beatles when they first got here.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
lot of-
for
lot of-
women,
and
a dress.
for women a dress. But you know what? There weren't very many women at that time in the local music scene.
That's
It was very rare. It was almost
probably
all.
way.
It was
and it
almost all
still
guys.
is rare,
It
but
still
even
is,
more so
yeah.
Yeah,
then.
it was
Yeah.
almost all guys.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody really, even in the Williamsport area.
You don't really remember there being like a
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I could only imagine that back then women in the industry was a lot worse because a lot worse with them having a spot in the industry.
And why do you think that is? I'd like to hear your take on it.
We're getting spicy today.
I don't
We're
know.
getting
I don't know
spicy.
if it's definitely not sexist. It's just that women didn't hold themselves out as wanting to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't see
But do you think it was
a
an
gal show up with a
overall-
guitar and
and-
just wing it.
Yeah, but perhaps that was
Can I
because
sit
of
in,
an
or anything?
overall societal structure.
I think so. I think so.
I mean, clearly it is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to be afraid to kind of talk about that. That's
Yeah.
that's
No,
clear.
that's the way things have changed.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
Things have
very,
changed.
very male-centric culture.
Yeah,
Then
and it
there's-
still is, but it is much more acceptable and
I think
even pushed and promoted for women to be doing it.
I think country music made the change because they had a
country
lot
did.
of women
Okay.
from the 40s on.
Yeah.
So
had
what,
a lot of women.
what makes you think? Tell me why country music was the.
Well, it seems to me like I think Leo's right, but there are definitely we're a lot more in rock music because we can kind of.
When I was coming up, it sounds like I'm really old.
Well, you did say
When
your
I was-
first show was in the
When I
1970.
was coming up, country music was not a thing that was played in bars then.
Right.
On the jukebox, yeah, but not bands. And there were some country bars, but they were basically in the country somewhere,
Yeah.
some small country town. Like McEwensville or something. And they would have a bar, and the people would come play country music. But all the bars were hiring rock cover bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the women weren't doing that. I was about to say how, I think that a lot more women were prevalent in country music, but when I think about it, that's the 90s. The 90s is when that
There's
happened.
a lot of crossover
But
activity, and it really
in the 90s, there was also women in rock coming through, like with Sonic Youth
Oh,
and
my
the
gosh.
Breeders and, Luscious Jackson and these kind of 90s bands were all women bands or predominantly
Well, there
women
was
bands.
Fleetwood Mac, but that was sort of
Yeah.
an exception.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, with the classic country, I think of like Loretta Lynn.
Oh my gosh,
A lot of the
love them all.
Tammy
It's great.
Wynette.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were
Earlier, yeah.
women- yeah, earlier.
Not like the 90s, which was like the
Yeah.
Dixie Chicks and Faith Hill and Shania Twain
Yeah.
and those like kind of, And we're using kind of country as like a
pop
catch-all
country.
for like it's kind of rock, country, especially then was
pop
kind of
country.
more rock.
I call it pop
you know?
country. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you remember who the first woman that you played music with? Like, did any type of interaction musically with?
I'm thinking hard. It was a very, very good question because I think that you and Kate Collar were
Really?
the first time that I ever did anything musically with. Yeah.
Wow. So just in the last
Anything
few years.
formal.
Like collaborative.
Yeah.
Collaborative.
So I'm looking
That
for
was the
we
word
need
I
a
was looking for.
we need a lady voice in here.
Yeah.
Who am I going to
Wow,
get for this?
interesting.
Who's and I went around
Wow.
and listened to you and I listened to Kate
Yeah.
sing and
So prior to that, it was mostly men
Yes.
that you had worked
yeah,
with.
and then I worked
musically.
solo for so many years
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it was just me
Interesting.
It's interesting because
or a bass player. You had a bass player or a
Has
drummer back
the
then.
Folk Justice Band ever brought a woman
No,
in for
and-
anything?
No, and we've had guest singers.
Okay, so
We've had guest
there you go.
singers, and I would love to bring in a keyboard player who could sing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hint, hint. But it's funny because when I think about like what's changed and what I hear people talk about, this subject really never comes up. And you know specifically how important women in music is to me. My last band, we had a woman front and a woman drummer, and I love women in rock music. I love it, and not because I'm like a male who's like, oh yeah, they're sexy. No, it's because that is like one of the most empowering things for me to see a woman with that guitar leading that band and just rocking out like all those people in the 60s and 70s.
There are only two
and
women
80s did.
locally that I can remember really fronted bands. There was Allison Rupert in Williamsport with the Alice in Wonder Band. They were very, very good.
And what time frame was that?
Probably, 80s.
Okay.
80s on through until
Yeah.
just a few years ago. And then, of course, Ann Kerstetter with the
Yeah.
Crosstown Bus.
Yep.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
They were an amazing band. And the Ann Kerstetter band's great now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too, because you tend to see more women as solo acts than you do as women as leading a band
Just out
or
front.
or filling a band. Like you definitely do, and I personally think that's something we could see more of and encourage a little more.
Well, definitely. Well, there's
I think we should actually do another episode of this podcast
And bring in-
about women in music and make
Yeah.
that maybe a series. As
Yeah.
yeah,
as
bring
we
guests
Yeah.
in
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
and so on. We were talking about fashion.
Yeah.
And we were commenting earlier, is I refuse to wear shorts when I gig.
Yeah.
Unless it's 90 degrees. That's my point. If it's 90 degrees inside or outside, I'm wearing shorts. But I think it's not a great look.
Okay.
Yeah.
I generally like to wear dark pants, and I wear this old ratty blazer that
Yeah.
I had for almost 30 years.
I've seen you wear that.
And it's faded, and it's very comfortable. It's so nice. It wraps around me like a nice blanket, and it just looks a little more professional.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a good look. And I just got my cue from a guy I used to play with, and also from seeing so many folk performers. A lot of folk performers wear jackets. The guys.
Yeah.
And you like that look, yeah. So outside
Or a
of,
vest.
I don't
Yeah.
mean to change the subject or for whatever, but I just had a question and I want to get this out while we're still rolling here. So outside of money and fashion, today versus when you first started, do you think it's easier to be successful as a musician now, or was it back then? And is it easier now to? I'll just use the term successful, but
As
that
far as
meaning-
making a living.
well,
Making a
again,
living.
but I also want to say like becoming quote unquote famous too. So do you think
Either
that
or.
those two things, and you can either use them together or not, or separately, was that easier back then, or was it easier now?
I think it was easiar because if you got
In early days.
Yes. Yeah, because the music industry is so fragmented now. With streaming has just sort
Yeah.
of destroyed that, because unless some music influencer discovers your music on one of the streaming services and then starts playlisting it
Yeah.
and pushing it, you know,
Yeah.
it's not
Well,
going to happen unless you're very lucky. You have to,
This
there's,
is a
there was
good
always
point
luck
to get into.
there was always luck involved.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many good regional musicians who could play anybody, anywhere with anybody. You know that. You know.
So how was it? How did it work back then?
Well, you would go to a studio and cut an album and start. You would go to radio stations and take your record. Take your 45 to the local radio station, see if they'd play it. Then you build up a local following.
And how is that different from?
You can't do that now. You
No,
have all the radio stations are owned by conglomerates,
Yeah.
and they play the same playlist.
But you do still, and this is where I would disagree with you a little bit. And again, I don't know because I wasn't alive in the 1970s. So
You missed a lot.
I was alive in the 70s, but it was only 1979.
Yeah, that's all right. You were alive
Same.
then,
I was
right?
like-
But anyway, I do disagree with that, and this is something that I hear a lot of people that are from the older generation, and they do quote that a lot. But the chances for you to get your music out there now and get the same amount of people to listen to it is much higher. Much higher.
Yeah, I can say, yeah, it is. It is.
But the industry, the whole market is flooded.
Yeah.
There are, where back then there might have been, say, let's just make some arbitrary numbers here. Back then there might have been 1,000 bands within one state trying to make it. Now there's 100,000 bands.
Because your words were, how do you get? Is it easier to get famous?
Right.
No.
Right. But
Famous and fame is it's all
fame is
relative.
different now.
It's not.
It
there's
just
big.
looks
There's
different.
Big Bunny fame.
Maybe it's not easier.
Or Bad
it's
Bunny,
just different.
not Big Bunny,
Yeah.
Bad Bunny fame.
Both when you look at both time periods or whatever, it's not really about being easier. It's
different.
It's just different.
It's different. It's
I-
always been hard.
because
Yeah.
I think here's my personal perspective and take on it. I think back then you only saw the bands that got famous.
It's true.
You only noticed the band. That's why every band that most older generation likes is a famous band.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see the bands that aren't famous as well as the ones that are. You know, so it's, or you hear of them, or the lighter
levels.
fame people.
Yeah.
You kind of notice a little more. It's not just the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And,
Well, when I
and
right when I go to a concert now, I really look forward to the opening act.
Yeah.
'Cause you know you're going
Oh,
to get
yeah.
you know you're going to get in the main act.
Yeah.
But I look forward to the up and comers.
Yeah, it's like
and see
finding
So do
like
I.
a gem.
Yeah,
You know? It's like
yeah.
you want to find those up and coming.
yeah.
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 Well, that's something we talk about a lot. Is like how, like I've seen a lot of big bands and I've seen a lot of small bands. We both prefer to see local small bands and small venues.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go to Hershey Stadium.
Oh.
And we saw Bob
I don't
Dylan
like
there
it.
last year.
First of all, everybody's standing the whole time.
There was like 50,000
awful.
people there.
It's like if you're not right up front,
Right.
and
And you're watching it on a screen.
Well, yeah, and it's like you're listening
Stay
to the
home.
radio. It doesn't. It's not like the music isn't like vibing in.
You can't even
in
see
your-
the person. You got to look
I
at
want
the
to feel it in
screen.
my chest. You
That's
know.
why I loved growing up around here because Bucknell used to get great bands
Yeah.
over at
Yeah.
that college. It was a small hall. It was Davis Gym, for God's sake. It sat about maybe 2,000, and then about another 500 or 600 on the floor.
Yeah.
And sometimes the bands would play 2 or 3 shows.
Yeah.
You know, that's how
Yeah.
they do it. But it was a more intimate kind of thing, and nobody stood up except maybe for a finale. You know, the last song.
Yeah.
But it was actually sort of more polite.
yeah.
Nobody had people on their shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, that's obnoxious. You're trying to see, and there's somebody wearing a big hat, and you ask them to take them off, and they flip out on you.
I just don't like it. It's just you're too far away. I just talked about it with our friends Jake and Steph yesterday. They came to visit here, and we were talking about this band that we both seen, and I saw them in Philadelphia at Franklin Music Hall. That was probably like 2,000 or 3,000 person venue. That's my max.
That's
I
a
really
great-
don't.
I like
not-
those small halls.
and that's even kind of big.
I
for
like
me,
even
you know.
smaller, where you go up to State College or
Yeah.
the State Theater, that nice intimate theater, or down to the Opera House at Mock Chunk.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There was a place in Philadelphia. I don't think it's open anymore, but the Tin Angel. It
Oh,
was
I've heard of the
called.
Tin Angel, sure.
And I loved that.
You and your
Yeah.
parents
It was
would go there.
Yeah, they took
Your
me
dad?
to a couple shows.
There's World
there.
Cafe down there now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that fame is a little different now. The record deal isn't what it used to be. No. Like when you were a band, you'd go out, you'd get a record deal, you got a record deal, and there was a good chance you were going to become famous with your record deal. Now, bands are turning record deals down because what really are they doing for them anymore? You know, although it is easier to get famous still from a record deal, you know, but it's just a different animal. Is it easier to be successful? Is it easier to be a 100% gigging musician and make a living now or then? And I think that kind of comes back to that whole money.
It gets back to the whole money thing.
The whole money situation.
Because, like, if you're soloing for 150 at a bar, 150 then was equal to about $750.
Right.
And they charge a cover.
Sure.
You know,
And we
now,
all know that the price of living has gone up.
oh my gosh.
You know,
So you
to
really
least.
have to scrap.
Yeah.
You really have to
I
scrap.
mean, she gigs pretty much full time.
You and Alan Combs, I think, are the benchmarks for that locally.
Oh my gosh, how many gigs did Alan tell us he did not last year? It was like over 20 a month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Holy cow, dude! That is like that's a lot.
I mean, I do over 20 a month.
Yes.
With everything.
Oh, I know. You're out there
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And what did he say now? He's like 11 a month or 12 or something?
Yeah, I think he
I
said
forget
he
exactly
got
what he
back,
told
yeah.
us.
Well, he's getting a little bit better venues too, because sort of
He
up
said
and
that.
Yeah,
up
he
and
said
coming
he's
in
getting a little
in the
more
Americana
choosy.
circuit. You know.
And that's what I've told
Those
her.
kind of bars.
And you kind of alluded to this before.
Yeah.
With Folk Justice.
Yep.
You got to set your price and you just need to say, hey,
This is what it is.
would you rather do 10 gigs at $100 a gig or 5 gigs at $200 a gig?
At the places you want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At places you choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get the first Fridays because that's an endowed series through the hospital. UPMC sponsors a lot of the bands up there on Friday nights on their first Fridays. So they could meet it. They could meet what we wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes sense.
That's why
It
nobody
just makes
knows about
sense
it.
in that way. I would say it's probably a lot harder now. A lot harder
Oh, it
now
is.
to be a gigging musician and making a living wage from gigging for sure.
But I think a good soloist can. You know,
I
can
think so,
break it.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think
you're not
so, too.
splitting. You're not splitting it.
I think that here's another question. I got a little sidetracked.
Especially if it's cash.
Yeah.
This is one that I hear from people that bring up a lot about in the past versus now. Do you think that there are more people going out to consume live music now or then?
What I've noticed is in this area, excuse me, and in Williamsport, it's the same core group of about 200 people who you see everywhere. You
Yeah.
know what it's like. You
Yeah.
see the same
Yeah.
people.
Doesn't even matter the type of music.
They're the live music consumers.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is, and they mostly want covers, mostly.
Yeah.
But if they get to like you, you know they're going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need maybe multiple exposure, maybe 2 or 3 times hearing you.
Yeah.
Say,
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm going out to see
Yep.
Rebecca. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going out to see Alan Combs. Oh yeah, I've heard him. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
I told Rebecca one time, I said,
but they always get requests for covers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I told Rebecca one time, I said, you know, it's weird because if you think about it as a musician and playing out, it's like there are, like you just said, there's a small core amount of people that come out for music. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is just coming out.
Right.
And there happens to be music at the place that they decided to
That's
go
true.
to.
There happens to
Yeah.
be music.
You know?
They're just there to eat.
There are people
or-
I've encountered. You know, the manager's asking you. The manager's asking you to turn down because it's too loud. There's people over there
Yeah.
are bothered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like giving you the evil eye because you're too loud, and you're really not loud. It's just
Yeah.
that they wanted a nice, quiet
Yeah.
dinner together. They just came to a place with music.
I already got $100 tip to turn down.
Really?
To
Yeah.
turn the system off.
To turn the
right?
system off.
Turn the system.
Well, it was because we couldn't turn down any farther without turning it off. And so at that point, for $100, we just.
It-
I had a guy offer to pay me to not play Wagon Wheel.
If somebody,
You'll all know this next one. It isn't a Wagon Wheel, is it? I'll give you $10 not to play Wagon Wheel.
Right?
if somebody would have told me, now I know in that situation it wasn't up to you, it was up to Jake.
Yeah.
But if somebody came up to me and said, "I'll give you $100 to turn off," I'd say, "I'd give you $100 to leave."
Yeah, right.
I mean, honestly, if I would have been there solo and that would have happened, I probably would have said, "You can have your $100."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I would have just
right.
been like, "How about this for
Yeah.
$100? You could, I'll pay for
Yeah.
your dinner if you leave."
yeah. I mean,
I always suggest to the people if they're close, look, there's an open table back there.
Yeah, move.
Yeah.
Just move.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll find there's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and
you're,
I guess-
you're like in the front. You're like right
Yeah.
next to the stage.
Those are the people that just show up and then there's music.
Yeah, they're not there for the music.
Now,
They're there to eat.
this is another completely other podcast, but this is a situation where the venue owners need to be doing a better job of promoting music and
Yeah.
being regular with it and not just randomly having acts there on certain days.
Unexpectedly.
You know,
where I like
that
to go?
Everybody knows.
I like to go. What's the local place here in Sunbury that just tips only? I've played there for gosh.
Bottle Works.
Bottle
Bottle
Works.
Works. I played there a couple times. You know, I go there on Sundays. It's nice.
I said we weren't going to say
yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
oh, they're great. I love them. I love them. I love them because it's a good
Well,
place.
we do
Yeah.
love them. They are
We
very,
do love
very
if you're a
Yeah.
singer-songwriter, it's a great place to try out new songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, her daughter plays
in a
there
friendly atmosphere.
often. She plays there once
You
in a
know.
while. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
a nice way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
It
I
is
go over
actually.
there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
For sure.
what Rebecca loves playing at Bottle Works because the people that go there for the music.
They do. They're
Yeah.
good
The
listeners.
Yep.
crowd is
That's
a
what
music
I
crowd.
like.
They want to
They
be.
really,
They're there to hear the
they're
music.
there to hear the
Yeah.
music.
Which is so strange because the place does not seem like a place
No.
that would be for music. But then you find other venues that like you're like, oh, this would make a
You'd
great
think
music
it would
venue,
be,
and
and it's
nobody
not.
wants to hear
I
anything.
first thought when I first heard
Oh,
it,
my
I thought it
goodness.
was a beer distributor that
Yeah.
had music, which
Yeah.
isn't unusual. There's one in Williamsport who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I went and said, hey, this is nice. Nice little restaurant. You get sandwiches. It's
Yeah,
nice.
little sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What else do you think? What do you think? What have you heard people talk about changing, or what's something that is there anything that you think has changed that that we didn't bring up?
I
Yeah.
really don't think so. It's the way music is not promoted by
Yeah,
venue owners.
yeah, and again,
and the pay scale remaining the same.
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, if you go to other cities, the union's involved.
yeah,
They gotta pay.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, I remember one now. This was one that bothers me a lot, strangely. Much like women not being involved in music, something I get a lot from people I speak to is kids aren't into music. Young people aren't playing guitar. Young people don't consume music. Young people aren't coming out to see music. And I don't agree with that at
I
all.
don't agree either.
We now that we own a music shop, I see more people under the age of 30 in here than I
Yeah.
do people over 30.
Yep.
So
A lot of people
Just-
playing
Yeah.
guitar.
It just looks different now, but
Well, a lot of kids are producing their own music at home.
Yes.
You get these really smart kids
Yes.
that learn how to do the stuff.
Yeah.
Learn how to use recording programs.
yeah. The other thing they say is like, well, kids aren't into rock music. Can I tell you how many kids under the age of 18 that come in here and have Metallica shirts on?
They're
Like,
into-
Yeah.
come on.
well, really, it's our it's the music. A lot of the music is 30, 40 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even older music than that, because I mean we have young young kids coming to the open mic, and they're doing like CCR songs.
Well, sure
and,
they are.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I live next to the college zone in Lewisburg, the off-campus zone that has these huge blowout parties every weekend. It is annoying, only because of the volume. It is.
Sure,
You're
yeah.
trying to have a nice afternoon in the backyard, and but the soundtrack, the playlist is the music that I grew up with, and a little bit later. I don't think there's anything after 1990
Oh wow.
Yeah.
that they play. It's all
Yeah.
all old classic rock.
Right.
There is a research. I mean, there
Yeah, I love
are
it.
new
It's their grandparents' music.
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
are new
Yeah.
rock songs that young kids are listening to, and I know because I listen to the same stuff.
Sure.
But there's been this grunge resurgence
Oh, yeah.
with
Yeah.
teenagers, Nirvana
Oh,
and
yeah.
Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. It's just like that's
Well, it's a
what
little
lot of them are
rebellious,
listening
you know.
to.
That's why.
Yeah.
It speaks to them.
Yeah.
It speaks
Yeah.
to
And it's
Yeah.
and it's accessible.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that I listen to is like underground stuff that like a lot of these kids just aren't gonna hear ever.
Yeah.
So, but that stuff's still accessible, and it is exactly what you said. It's a little more.
And it's great. I'll be out, washing the
Fight
car or
people.
something. I'm hearing this great playlist all afternoon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then it continues. It continues into
You're like, okay, that's enough.
11 o'clock, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. A little bit too late.
There's like this shoegazy, grungy band that I really like. That when Rebecca and I first started dating, I introduced her girls to, and now it's like her youngest's favorite band.
Hmm.
Last year, I was like, oh, they're playing in Philadelphia. So me, Rebecca, and her two daughters went and took them. And
We were amazed at what
we were
saw
amazed
there.
because it was at Brooklyn Bowl, which is part of the Fillmore in Philly. And the place was packed. It was probably about 1,000-person room. And I would say there's probably about 1,000 people for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the two oldest people in the room. In our mid 40s. It was we were
young.
literally
Mm-hmm.
probably there was like maybe 5 or 6 other people our age there, but everyone else was 30 and under.
Yeah.
And we were like,
Yeah,
who
so
says
we were like,
rock
yeah,
music
they're out
is
there. They're going out and hearing music. They're just not going to the places
Yeah.
that the
The people who complain about
Right.
about young
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
young kids these days.
And this
Yeah.
stuff
Hey, what do they listen
and
to?
this
Yeah.
music is like heavy, like rock. This is rock music, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're not just out listening to would you say the Big Bunny? Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny.
They're not just out there.
Bad Bunny's great though.
There's like the controversy now because he's doing the Super Bowl,
I saw.
and everybody's
yeah.
like mad, and I'm like, who cares?
Nobody's
like,
I don't want
Only
to say who's
certain
angry.
people.
Certain people are angry,
yeah, who cares?
and they can carry their anger, and they can not watch. They can turn it
How
off.
dare you book something that I don't like at the
Better
Super
things to
Bowl?
be angry about than that.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so things have definitely changed because everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that personally don't necessarily think that the industry is worse. People love to talk crap about streaming, and I think there are aspects of streaming that sucks, and I think there's aspects of streaming that could be better. But I don't think streaming music is killing the music industry. I don't. These record labels are now kind of taking over streaming and getting
They
these
are.
paid playlists.
They
They
do.
are, and that's bad. Streaming is putting on, some streaming is putting on AI music, which is another topic
Definitely
that
going to be a category
Yeah.
to talk about.
streaming is not paying very well. But did radio pay very well? You know, what radio did was help people sell records, you
Because they
know?
have people at Spotify apparently, and all the streamers just sitting listening to everything, and they assign them certain playlists on the streaming services. Like Spotify has
Yeah.
they have their new country, old country.
Right.
They give you a category.
Yep. Well,
They stick you in there.
So that's it, just not to get there. So there are playlist curators. There's
Right.
both Spotify paid playlist curators, and then there are independent playlist curators. And they make these playlists. These playlists, if they become popular, the playlist alone within the platform of Spotify could have 1 million followers.
Yeah, sure.
And then what you do is when you release some music, you actually write and contend to the curator to try to get your song on there. And the big ones, if you can get your song on there, there's a good chance you're going to get a lot of streams and a lot of follows out of it. But it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
With
it's
one of my songs on the Bay of Mexico album, I was lucky enough to I ran into this guy through another friend of mine who is a DJ on America's premier community radio station, sort of like what Michael Lundy does, but it's a
Yeah.
big station out of New Haven, Connecticut.
okay.
And he actually playlisted my song, the James Dean song.
On streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has a bunch of plays. Not a whole lot, but it has
Yeah.
much more than the other songs.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes.
Right.
It takes
right. Yeah.
finding an,
No, it does.
influencer.
It does. And that's
Yeah.
that's an entire another leg of promoting your music is trying
Yeah.
to get them on playlists. It's something, if you're listening to this and you're a musician, take note of that and go research it because it's
Yeah.
something that most of you are overlooking. But getting your music on playlists, it's
Yeah.
not easy to do. And it's important to get on the right playlist, and it's important
Yeah.
to get on, but like it's hard.
What's
But
kind
now
of
there's AI playlists.
Oh, I know.
So
I know.
it's
I know.
and if you get on one of those, you're screwed. You know. There's also these there are also like with everything, there are the ones gaming the system and taking advantage of this playlisting, and they're starting these services where you pay them $1,000, and then they're like, "We'll get you on 100 playlists."
Yeah, right.
But they're like, your playlist is worthless, and it's actually hurting your algorithm.
Yeah.
Versus helping it. So
Well, for a while when I first put the Bay of Mexico up on Spotify anyway, I don't know what the other streamers are doing. I know I get drips and drabs of royalties that come in. Get get like 18 cents coming into your bank account.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say about Spotify?
I forget what it is. It's
What did I
like
say?
3 cents per
Yeah.
million streams or per 1,000 streams, I think.
I made
So 3 cents per 1,000.
$88 last year,
Yeah.
and I had to split them with Bob Holmes, the songwriter.
Yeah.
That was the
44
split. So we made
cents, baby.
$176.
Oh, $44. Yeah.
Oh, the things we do for what we love.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, what about you? Anything to add or question?
I'm just curious who's your favorite modern musician or
He's like,
band?
I haven't listened to a new band since 1968.
I do listen. Most of my music preferences are kind of.
Oh, current.
Well,
yeah.
Kind of
just to
old.
feed off that, I'm curious about her question too, but I'd like to know genre-wise also what your favorite is, and then new artists. So what was yours? What was the newest artist?
What's just a modern current artist that you enjoy?
Boy, there's so many. I mean, really, I like so many. I hate to say it. I like so many people about equally. I like to listen to their particular songs.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick a band as a band. It's like,
you
I
don't
like
have
this
to
song.
say just one. You can say a couple that's come to your mind.
Well, you know what it's like too. You kind of get put
Well, I
on the
like
spot,
I
what's your
like
favorite
Nirvana.
band?
That's
Yeah.
old though.
Yeah, it's old.
I like Nirvana.
Yeah.
It's pretty old.
I like
Pretty
my
But that's okay. If that's the
Yeah.
most modern thing that you like,
Yeah.
then that's
Isn't-
fine.
Well, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Bare Naked Ladies
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think they're. But
Okay.
but still, you're still 20 years old. You know, the Bare Nakeds.
Like 30.
Well, anything after
30?
2000.
Is it 30?
Yeah.
Anything
See, I'm in-
after 2000 is
Yeah.
Yeah.
like new.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's actually a really good question, and I love to like talk about that because most people, and Leo said that earlier, that even the stuff the kids are listening to is music from our generation and his generation.
It is. That's
So,
what they gravitate to. When
you
they
know,
want, when they want
a
to have
lot
a
of
party,
times-
that's what they listen
Yeah.
to. Then when they get really drunk, then the house music starts with a lot of bass. It's
yeah.
just bass rhythm,
yeah.
and sirens.
Yeah.
Sirens.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you.
Well, that just tells me honestly what that tells me, because there are new bands that are quote unquote famous. It's just that it's only for certain people. Like, you know, I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of a newer version of these, but Sleep Token, which is like I think they're like an emo-y metal-ish kind of thing. No, they're not. They're like an electronic emo-y metal EDM-y kind of thing, right?
yeah.
But I don't like that. They're a pretty new band. I don't like it.
Right.
But I listen to a lot of bands that are newer than them, but literally nobody else heard of them. So I think that it's, when it comes to being famous, a lot of these bands are famous, but to only very specific markets, where if someone would say, hey, look, this is what everybody's listening to, let's build off of that and create something that's similar to that, but new, they might actually have a good chance of. What about that Greta Van Fleet band? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Greta Van Fleet, they're like a Led Zeppelin clone.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're like super famous and
They're good.
super new, and
They're good.
they sound exactly like
I like
Led Zeppelin,
many. I like most of the
in my opinion.
most of what I see on Saturday Night Live is what I learn of new music.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I like most everything that's on there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know.
Have you
You're
ever
pretty
heard
open then to.
But you know, a lot of new songs don't have
Yeah. Yeah.
good hooks. You know,
Good
a
hooks,
lot of
yeah.
songs they're good, they're talented musicians, but they're not memorable songs.
that? Yeah.
And that's why I think the kids go back and listen to the music from.
So you kind of feel
40,
like
50 years
that's
ago.
part of what makes a song good is having a
Yeah,
good hook.
I'm very
that's-
melody driven.
Yeah.
Very melody driven. A complete song,
Yeah.
not jam songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, unless I'm playing, then I like a good jam.
Yeah.
I mean, and the
But to listen to, I get bored.
a lot of
Yeah.
the popular music these days is like, you know, it's like hip hop adjacent, R&B adjacent, like
Sure.
pop stuff that, you know, I don't like. It's like radio stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really into. I don't think they're bad musicians.
No.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Very creative stuff. But I wish they'd call a lot of rap, put it in the spoken word category, because the spoken
I mean, it
word
is
with
spoken
rhythm,
word.
with
Yeah.
rhythm.
It is.
Yeah.
Def Jam Poetry Jam.
Yeah.
That was the thing back in the 90s.
Yeah.
All the hip hop Def Jam records had the Poetry Jam where people would do spoken word stuff at those.
Yeah.
They were cool. I'm a hip hop guy from when I was a kid, so yeah.
Yeah, so is my son. He's a hip hop guy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Leo, anything else as we sign off here?
This is very good. I've had a lot of fun here today.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
good.
so much.
Yeah,
It was
fun
good to
having
talk. We love kind of just having these conversations and letting them meander wherever they go.
Yeah.
And then
Meandering's
just
good.
kind of
Yeah.
talking about, Leo, as a local musician, if you want to just real quick plug yourself if you'd like, where's the best way for people to get a hold of you or find your music or learn more about you?
I will be playing at Front Street Station on October 18th with Rick Marcera.
Okay. Front Street Station in Northumberland over
Fantastic mandolin player, singer,
nice.
He's. If you've ever played with Rick, it's
here. What's the date on that?
the 18th.
The 18th.
It's a Saturday night.
Saturday night, the 18th.
And your stage name is LS.
LS Armbruster, but I
Armbruster.
still say my name.
LS.
Right, but if you want to find his
Armbruster.
music,
It's LS
LS
Armbruster.
Armbruster.
LS
And
Armbruster.
social medias, that's what it is, LS Armbruster.
But my main page is the best place to see my music because you can scroll through my posts, and it's
Yeah.
mostly music. Is Leo Armbruster.
And that's Leo.
Leo
Armbruster.
Armbruster.
Yep.
Man, you're confusing. You're a confusing guy. I'm just kidding. Well, Leo, it was really great talking to you. We're glad to have you kind of shoot the shit with us.
I
And,
like shooting the shit.
yeah.
It's my favorite things to do.
We love to just chit chat and kind of get people's takes and talk about different subjects. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Thanks for having me
Thank you.
down,
Thank
making
you,
the
Leo.
journey down to Sunbury,
Yes.
the long journey.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate you tuning in. Hope you like this episode. See you soon.